the world of classic supercars, there are those that roar into history and others that quietly disappear, only to be remembered by a few. The Jaguar XJ220 is one of those forgotten supercars. It came with bold promises, jaw-dropping design, and record-breaking speed. But despite all that, it somehow faded into the background while other names like Lamborghini and Ferrari took the spotlight. If things had gone differently, the XJ220 might have been the one to change the course of the 90s supercars era forever. Why did it fade into obscurity? Join us as we explore the history, specs, and untold story of the Jaguar XJ220, the forgotten supercar that could have changed everything. It all started with a group of engineers at Jaguar, not the big corporate board or some fancy design team. No, this was a small team of car lovers working after hours. They were called the Saturday Club. On weekends, instead of relaxing, they worked on building something that had never been done before at Jaguar, a true supercar. Something that could stand beside the greats from Italy, like Lamborghini and Ferrari. They weren't playing it safe either. This wasn't just a faster version of an existing car. They wanted to make something bold, something that would make even the wildest Italian supercars take a second look. And when they first revealed it in 1988, that's exactly what happened. When the XJ220 was shown to the world, the response was electric. People lost their minds over it. This car wasn't just fast, it looked like something straight out of a science fiction film. Its futuristic lines, scissor doors, and aerodynamic body set it apart from everything else on the road. Jaguar had created something bold and daring. The XJ220 wasn't just a car, it was a statement. Underneath that stunning body, the car was packed with a V12 engine and four-wheel drive, promising a performance level that could rival anything on the market. The name itself spoke volumes, XJ for Jaguar's typical naming convention, and 220 for the top speed the car was aiming for. It seemed like the XJ220 was ready to carve its name into history as one of the greatest supercars of all time. But before the car even hit production, the first signs of trouble appeared. Before the XJ220 could hit the road, Jaguar made a significant change that would become one of the key points in the car's story. The V12 engine and four-wheel drive system were scrapped, and in their place, Jaguar decided to use a twin turbocharged V6 engine and rear-wheel drive. To many fans, this felt like a betrayal. The promise of a V12-powered all-wheel drive supercar was suddenly replaced by a smaller, less exotic V6. While the new engine came from Jaguar's racing program and was certainly powerful, it was still a significant departure from what had been promised. This change caused many customers to cancel their orders. The car that had once excited so many was now seen by some as a shadow of its former self. Despite the changes, the car had the potential to be great, but it didn't come without its challenges. Even though the XJ220 lost some of its early promise, it didn't fail to deliver when it came to performance. When the car finally made it to production, it was blisteringly fast. The XJ220 broke records, becoming the fastest production car in the world at the time, with a top speed of 212 miles per hour. It outpaced Ferrari and Lamborghini, making Jaguar a serious player in the supercar world. But while the XJ220 was undeniably fast, its speed alone wasn't enough to secure its place in history. The car was overshadowed by other factors, especially the timing of its release. The early 1990s were a tough time for luxury cars. The global economy was in a slump, and people weren't rushing out to buy million-dollar cars. Many potential customers pulled out after the price of the car shot up, and the hype surrounding the XJ220 quickly started to die down. In addition to the economic downturn, the supercar market had already moved on. By the time the XJ220 was released, other manufacturers were already releasing new models. The XJ220 went from being a media darling to an awkward misfit. Jaguar, once known for luxury sedans and sports cars, wasn't seen as a supercar manufacturer. While the XJ220 had the performance to rival the best, it was still viewed by many as an oddball in the supercar world. The competition from other car manufacturers was fierce. By the time the XJ220 hit the market, Lamborghini, Ferrari, and McLaren had already cemented their places as leaders in the supercar world. These brands weren't just popular for their flashy designs, they had spent years building reputations for high performance, speed, and luxury. They were already trusted by enthusiasts and collectors alike. For Jaguar, this was a tough challenge. The brand was known for producing luxurious sedans and sports cars, but it didn't have the same level of recognition as Ferrari or Lamborghini when it came to supercars. The XJ220 was an ambitious leap for the company, but it was also a gamble. Jaguar needed to prove that it could stand toe-to-toe with the industry giants. Hey, if you're enjoying this look into one of the boldest cars of the 90s, hit that like button and subscribe for more supercar stories. Got a favorite obscure car you'd like us to cover? Drop it in the comments. We read every one. Now back to our forgotten supercar. Even though the XJ220 didn't perform as expected when it hit the market, its limited production made it a standout in the world of car collectors. Only 275 units were made, making it a rare find. For car enthusiasts, owning one of these cars became a real privilege. The car's rarity, combined with its impressive performance features, helped it find a spot in the collector's market for many years after it was first released. But it wasn't just rare in numbers, it had an air of exclusivity about it. The design, which had sparked a lot of debate when it was first shown, became an important part of its appeal. Driving one showed that you weren't just interested in a regular car, you wanted something faster and different from the usual. Over time, the car's rarity and the story behind it only added to its value, making it something collectors dreamed of having. While the XJ220 didn't help Jaguar take over the supercar market as they hoped, it had a big impact on the company's future. One important lesson they learned from the car's powertrain. The engine change, which disappointed many at the time, actually pushed the brand to think differently about what an engine needed to do in a car like this. The engineers had to come up with new ways to make the car perform better and handle better. Even though the XJ220 didn't meet everyone's expectations, the innovations tested during its development helped shape future Jaguar models. With these lessons, Jaguar didn't give up on high-performance cars. In fact, they used what they learned to improve future models. One example is the Jaguar F-Type. Released in the 2010s, the F-Type was a more refined version of the ideas tested in the XJ220. While the F-Type wasn't as extreme, it still had the same focus on delivering a strong driving experience. The XJ220 might not have been the success Jaguar hoped for, but its influence can be seen in future cars, like the F-Type, which showed how Jaguar was ready to keep pushing the envelope in more practical ways. In the wider world of cars, the Jaguar XJ220 became a symbol of big dreams that didn't quite come true. When it was first introduced, it seemed like the perfect combination of British engineering and excellence. People were upset about the switch from the promised V12 engine to a V6, the high price tag, and the handling issues that kept it from performing the way people had hoped. For many, it became a case of what could have been. Yet, over time, the XJ220 started to be seen in a different light. It was still a car that had tried to do something extraordinary, even if it didn't work out. After the XJ220 didn't hit the mark, Jaguar needed to rethink their approach to supercars. The company realized that making fast cars wasn't enough. They needed to connect with customers in a deeper way, beyond just providing speed. This shift in Jaguar's thinking is clearly seen in their 2010 Jaguar CX-75 concept. Unlike the XJ220, which was focused mainly on power and speed, the CX-75 looked at performance from a more balanced perspective. It combined a stylish design with hybrid technology, which was a big deal at the time. The CX-75 showed that Jaguar had learned from their mistakes with the XJ220 and was now more focused on creating a supercar that was refined and practical, but still exciting to drive. Unfortunately, the CX-75 never made it into production, but it gave us a glimpse of what Jaguar's new approach would look like. Instead of competing just on speed, Jaguar started focusing on delivering a well-rounded supercar. They were still interested in performance, but they also wanted to offer something that had a connection to modern concerns like fuel efficiency and technology. The CX-75 showed that Jaguar was ready to rethink what a supercar could be, and it laid the foundation for the company's future designs. Many of the things that once worked against the XJ220, like the engine change and the car's pricing, have now become part of its charm. The car represents an ambitious idea that didn't fully work out, but in a way that makes it even more interesting. It's a reminder of a time when Jaguar tried to push the limits of what a supercar could be, and even though they didn't succeed in the way they hoped, at least we have a forgotten car that collectors will kill to have a piece of. The Jaguar XJ220 was a car that aimed high, but ended up becoming a forgotten car in the annals of history. It came from a place of ambition, risk, and the kind of thinking that doesn't always lead to success, but often sparks change. It didn't rewrite the rulebook or dominate the market, but it challenged what people expected from Jaguar, and in doing so, it quietly shaped the brand's future. It may not be remembered alongside the all-time greats, but for those who know its story, the XJ220 will always be more than just a missed opportunity. It's the forgotten supercar that dared to aim higher, and that alone is worth remembering. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment with your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next episode.